Jared Bolster's life went from the quiet fields of Landgrove to the bloody fields of Virginia. He was born in New York in 1836. He moved to Landgrove, Vermont, and lived in a house with his mother and father, Jared and Jane Bolster. He was the oldest of his 7 siblings. The youngest, Charles, was a newborn, and his oldest sister, Jane, was 4. The rest of his siblings were boys ranging from 6 to 12. Landgrove was a peaceful town where everyone knew each other. Jared may have spent lots of his time sitting on the edge of a small bridge, with a fishing pole dangling in the water, or walking along a quiet dirt road listening to birds chirp. That was all about to change, though. "You have called us, we are coming, by Richard's bloody tide, to lay us down for freedom's sake, our brothers' bones beside. Our foul treason's savage group to wrench the murderous blade, and in the face of foreign foes its fragment to parade. 600,000 loyal men and true have gone before. We are coming, Father Abram, 300,000 more." Jared enlisted in the Civil War when he was 25, in August of 1861. He enlisted a year before Landgrove had a bounty to pay soldiers who enlisted. Jared was very patriotic and didn't need an incentive to enlist in the war. He enlisted with his friend and neighbor, Henry Wiley. Henry and Jared spent countless hours together, fishing, helping out on each other's farms, or just talking. Jared and Henry fought in 4 battles together, the last one being the fateful Battle of Savage Station. Jared and the 5th Vermont Infantry marched into the Battle of Savage Station on June 29, 1862. The Battle of Savage Station occurred in Henrico County, Virginia. Jared and his company were called into the battle to protect the Federal left flank. The 5th Vermont Infantry suffered greatly, losing over 150 men in the battle. The 5th Vermont marched along the dusty Williamsburg Road, with the sweltering sun beating down upon them. They came along another Union regiment, hunkered down in the woods, refusing to budge. Colonel Lewis A. Grant recalled, "I remember it as if it was yesterday, the way we tramped over that line of cringing men, cursing them soundly for their cowardice." The 5th Vermont Infantry trampled through the woods, destroying all bushes and ferns in their way. Jared Bolster emerged into a field packed with Confederate infantry, supported by Confederate artillery on a small rise. A gigantic cannon was mounted on a railroad car, firing huge shells towards the 5th Vermont. Jared watched as a huge shell struck a line of men, blowing them in every direction and tearing into the ground. Jared Bolster and Henry Wiley vowed to stick together until both of them were struck down. Smoke filled the air, and the acrid smell of gunpowder was ubiquitous. Suddenly, the voice of Colonel Grant rang through the air, giving the command to charge. The field we stood was black with dead and wounded. We had been exposed nearly all the time to a murderous fire from 3 directions. Our company suffered more severely than any other, as we were in the exact range of a gun that was pouring canister through us, cutting our men down like grass. Anonymous soldier, Company E. A sheet of bullets immediately tore into the 5th Vermont. Jared and Henry ran across the field, dead bodies tripping them and smoke filling their eyes and nostrils. A bullet ripped through the smoke, hitting Henry straight in the chest. Jared saw Henry fall and fell to the ground, clutching Henry's hand. Henry's body was limp and no longer full of life. Jared let out a cry of sorrow and remorse as he fell to the ground, letting the sadness wash over. A bullet struck Jared in the back, crumpling him and engulfing him in a cloud of blackness. The old Vermont Friends were among the 206 Vermont men that gave their lives to the Battle of Savage Station. Jared and Henry started their friendship in the quiet mountains of Landgrove and ended it in the bloody fields of Virginia.